Alright, just a very quick update. We'll just make sure we're all back in the game. Alrighty, so we are back in the game. Let's take the pause off it. Alright, so we hit just over 100k. It looks like the population just dropping out. I was trying to terraform this back into a flat land, but that's more painful. I've seen mods where you just click buttons and it all happens really quickly and fast, but for a bit of dirt I dig up, I've got to get it from somewhere else. So I started in this corner and realised I was running out of space. But the update is, let's just have a look at my beautiful city. I've got 2 nuclear power plants, so wow, that power's. Oh, I know what it is. It's the rubbish. I've got incinerators, so I'm emptying garbage rubbish. So every time I cut my power back, it drops down massively, and then so my core steady supplies drop back a lot. And then incinerators drop off because they're not getting all the garbage to them, so the power level drops off. That's massive. So water's pretty straightforward. You know, the city's covered all over the place. Rubbish looks like that's all doable. Healthcare is ridiculous. Average health is nearly 80%. That's pretty good. Heavily, it's a lot of dark greens. Wind, yeah. Traffic, I got traffic up to 80%. I got as low as 68, and that's what I wanted to talk about. And now it looks like a pig's breakfast. But what I found the solution is, and I'd done it in little spots. I'd built tunnels. You know, from here I took a road. I went under this sort of a brothel, put a little tunnel here, and then I built a tunnel here. And I stopped. I think I disconnected this here, and that forced all the traffic to come back down here, and they looped around, and so whatever problem I fixed here, it was appearing over here, and when I fixed this issue, it started appearing in 10 other spots, and I was like, you mother... But, confusing, there's a lot of metros by this game. I think it's more of a European term, actually. I prefer saying subways and rails. And anyway, so I decided, I don't know where it just triggered for me. I decided to, I think it all started with this new area. So I began to build this new area, and so I attached on, and because I've got the industry pack here, and it's, I've got my lumber industry here. I've got my farming industry here that's, sort of all going off, supplying me with animal products and stuff. And then I've got some unique big factories, which, metals, steel products, there's a bit of money there. There's making a bit of money there. The mines, I haven't checked if they're running at full capacity. I had 2 oil deposits. This is the first one, and this is the second one over here. The error I made is I double zoned it. I zoned it for normal. I'll just quickly show you. And then I went to industry tab. Where is it? Industry tab? Or was it the first one? And I selected oil industry. And then I zoned it. You can see there's 2 zones there. So I think that sucked up the oil faster because these guys are all oil guys. There's no oil there anymore. And then I built the industry through these icons, and slowly built up my industry with all these big oil drill rigs. So the oil here was quite massive, and I had quite a few gigs because I was quite wealthy. I'm still around 5k, and I sucked it all up. And then I thought I better expand here because it's getting low. And I don't know. These 3 combined took a lot of my effort to make, to really, I had to micromanage it. And I was like, what value did I get out of it? And then I went to my budget tab and thought, where am I making all my money? So I'm making 120k from residential, 96k from my commercial, 8,700 from my industry areas, and then from my industry areas, 38,000. And I thought to myself, what? And then my office is 19, and public transport's 26. Wow, trains are making me that much. That must be cargo that I'm making that money from. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of expenses there. So let me just quickly. So look at that. Income 4,500, expenses 4,000, profit 500. Farming spend 4K, expenses so it's not bad profitable. Or 7.5. So the mining looks like she's pretty profitable. The oil is, now that I've sucked up all the oil, I'm importing. It's fully importing, and it's cost me a fortune. And then unique factories and warehouses, I'm losing 11,000. I think that's a week. So this is the first time I've actually really got stuck into them. And wow, that train has cost me a lot of money. Wow, the blimps have cost me a lot of money. I might just dump the train and the airport actually, just to see what happens. Because that's a lot of money I could take back. Because like I said, I got my air transfer up to 80%. It would be interesting to see. I wish I could break that down further. I'm sure that's the blimps. But yeah, that train has cost me a fortune. I'll have to break that down and check that out. Nice. So that's making me money. And I took away all my toll roads, which is, at most I was making 2 to 3K a week from that. All right. And I haven't upped my taxes. I'll leave it as a flat tax. I believe in the flat tax system myself personally. I will. Okay, just a simple tax system, make it all happen. But anyway, so getting back to this zone. So what I'll just show you. I did a couple. Oh, one building's on fire. A couple of things I did a bit different. I never used this. I zoned this one and made it what is it? The built-in. Where is it? The green. Um, Self-sufficient. And I like the fact that now they're all covered in grass and they seem a bit taller than normal. And cool. And I like the look of it. And I surround it with what do you call it? Uh, Offices. Then I did it again in the corner. But I like to do on this, and this is high density, but they haven't really built up the organic commercial. What do you call it? Where is it? Where are we tucked away? This one. Organic and local produce. So I like the idea of producing 50% of local goods, and traffic areas reduced by 50%, electricity consumption by 20%, reduce garbage. That's all right. So what I did, so very briefly, just so I can see this. There we go. So I designed this sort of like, I don't know, should be, coming here, one-way lane, one-way two-lane road, and I just wrapped it around, and then I connected. And as I put this beautiful little block together, I thought to myself, what's always the issue? You get the right cars and vehicles coming in, and the garbage, and all, and police, fire, and all that sort of stuff. And if I could control the traffic flow, and I needed it, so I got a way in, and that's going to get overloaded because it's only two-way one in. Need one way out. So each area I went to experiment with like a tunnel going down and under. And initially these were just two. They're actually, I went with a two-way highway. I think this is the one. Two lanes, one lane, each lane going in one direction. And so I went underground, and the cost was actually not that much. I think it might have cost me $1 million, which is a reasonable amount of money. But so I put that under, and I noticed the traffic started to move pretty well, and Everyone was flowing in, and then I just got carried away, and I made another one, another one, another one. So I made a few exits, and then I thought, well, there's a highway there. I want people coming in off the highway, so connected there. And then I took the idea and thought, hang on, it's working very well here, and it's the traffic's flowing in and flowing out very well. There's a lot more traffic moving here, not showing on my map as heavy. And then I said, hang on a sec, and from now on, I just never thought of it. And again, inexperience with the game. And I built a few tunnels over here, to skip around corners and under stuff. But then I took the concept further, and so where there's heavy traffic coming off here, I began to make little side tunnels and then underground, basically road tunnels. Here in Brisbane, a project was started. Oh, wow, it's 2019. Let's say 2010. It might have been earlier actually, and it was completion of. Oh, actually, yeah. Let's just say 2010 to make life easy. Um, there was a huge toll road built underneath the city, taken from the south side to the north side to get to the airport. Of course, it's a toll road. $5 billion. People invested in it, and the shares, I think, at start were worth $5 each, and then by the time it was completed, they were worth less than 1 cent because the project was designed. There was a 3 or 4 of these altogether, and I think it was about 20 billion plus Australian dollars in 3 or 4 projects. And the idea was through two main areas in the prospectus, they pitched that here in Brisbane, a city of about 2 million people, maybe 2.5 surrounding, or it's up to 3 million in the surrounding region coming in and going, would have more traffic going through it than what goes through some of the main toll roads in Manhattan and New York, which is a city of 8 million in the borough, and then I think it's surrounded by up to 60 million in and around the region or something. So let's say 10 to 15 million people. So you're looking at 20-30% of those maximum coming through at any one time. But it is New York; it's a nightmare. And I would just laugh and thought, hang on, they're pitching the idea that they're going to get more cars through a toll road to make it viable financially at those prices, because they were like $5 each way, and the only way they could probably up it to $10 each way. But they know for every couple of bucks they put it up, the numbers are going to drop. And initially, when they opened the toll roads after the complete, I think each one cost about $4 or $5 billion to complete. They had a heavy discounted price, like it was only a couple of bucks. So, it was easy done, just race through. I think for the first month and a bit, it was just free, so everyone just raced through and used it all, got familiar with it, and then they started to put the tolls on. And then in Brisbane, they completed this. It's like a brothel of highways and extensions and roads out to the airport, to the north part of Brisbane to get out to the Sunshine Coast and things like that. So to go through all that, it's like it can be up to $15 of tolls that you hit. And my partner is executive, and she's traveling from one side of the city to the other all the time for business and all that crap. So she's whipping through that all the time, but that's all at the company's expense, so she doesn't worry about it. But long story short, all of those toll roads went, and there was a proviso that the council would take them over for $1 billion each. So effectively, what happened after I think several years of operation, pretty much all of them went under. The council got the control of a couple of them, and the rest are sort of like on life support with the government controlling it, sort of thing. But so I don't think I could build an underground toll, but it's surprising it's not in the game. But so I got a brothel or subway. I went a bit silly with the subway initially. I wasn't really proud of it, but I was like, it's there. Let's just do it. But like I said, what I did is I started connecting the roads. I made this, through here, popping up into my main high-rise highway, and then we've come over to here. And like I said, 2 undergrounds, one going out, one coming in, and they're going to the, pulling out here. So they all connect up. So they connect up to this underground tunnel. And I think there's another one here, there. And as you can see, the traffic is flowing better. Like I said, I was low at 68%. So that, and I tell you, the bike ride has really, really taken off for me and reduced the traffic. And I had a nightmare here at this location. And I'll just check my traffic flow, because I think it's just up to 79%. This is all deep red. This is an issue because of the light roads, and I know it's going to be painful. This one here, I made it bigger. The only way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have to expand that road or make it one way. and just tell people to go particularly one way. That's just heavy traffic. And this is me just forcing a ton of traffic through certain areas. This one here is like 3 lanes connecting, so it is what it is. And here's a lot of pardon me. And here's a lot of just traffic coming on the road. But anyway, that's they say how it is. But yeah, I don't know. I just had the concept of putting it all together, and it makes me want to start a new city and do it a little bit better because I've learned a hell of a lot. And that's like anything in life. Like I run a recruitment and training business myself, and the fundamental thing I've learned from say age of 18, 19 when I started my career, I was going to go into HR and went off to uni and set to go to uni, and then because you have family working in the mines, they have a policy at the company that if you have family working there, like parents, on your breaks you can come and do work. Now for the girls, they did office jobs, admin jobs, and us guys were coming back, especially if you're fit and healthy. They gave you a shovel and said, "There's a car, go around, dig holes or cover up potholes or whatever." There's a lot of work can be done, so we did that. But they paid us at the daily labour rate, and I think it was like $1,500 a week or something back in a ridiculous long time ago. And when you're 18 and you haven't earned a decent wage or never had a serious job, and you're doing that for 4 weeks, and suddenly that money starts coming in, you're like, oh, that's nice. So I jumped in and went full time in the mines. My income went up considerably after going full time and shift work, and then after about a year, I got offered. I remember the manager just turning to me and goes, "You can read and write properly." I went, "Yeah, yeah. What about you, the trader? Why?" But I had a natural knack with it and development of people, and I saw the way people. And what I learned from very early ages, you can sit people in front of videos, you can sit people in front of manuals and books, but nothing compares with actively learning, or just getting your hands on. And because you can study and study and study, and so it's always, I think a combination is great, but practical experience is always best. So getting there and building more cities just makes you better. And I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where some people are town planners, and I see their cities, and I go, wow, I would never come up with that idea, and I wouldn't take that level of detail. So, but what I put together here is I don't know. I don't know what this town's even called. Spring Valley. I think I can change it. Sure, I can. Oh, here we go. So I got nearly 7,000 kids, 17,000 teens, 24,000 adults, young adults, 32,000 adults, 20,000 seniors. Wow. Weekly videos is 700. That's not really average zone build. So we've got 4 stars on a resident. Okay. So everything else is building up. All right, that's fine. Surely I can change the name, possibly. Everything else can name change. Here we go. We're going to call it what it is. Pig's breakfast. Pig's breakfast. That's an Australian term, which means that you're hungry, you get up, and you make a pig's breakfast. Now, that in a connotation, you can say you've made a mess of it, you stuffed it up, or this is a pig's breakfast, like pigs like messy, or a more positive term is you just don't care. You've had a big night out. It's a hangover. You just grab an eggs, bacon, you throw it all in the same thing. You cook it all up and throw it on the pan, and it's a pig's breakfast, and you wolf into it. But we'll call this town Pig's Breakfast. The city of Pig's Breakfast. Let's give it a name. But the early issues I suffered were a lot of dead people, and that kills your population. So as you can see over here, what I mean is, I've got an oversupply of crematoriums and we can turn that off, and graveyards, and they were having trouble and difficulty getting through to everything. And what happened there is that what happens is you start getting warnings that there's something smelling next door, and it starts spreading through the city. It indicates you've just got traffic flow problems. And the more dead people got in the buildings, the more it stinks, and it causes your, I don't know, Sims or whatever people to move out. So, um, and suddenly you start getting this huge population drop off. Because I played a couple of games, and it was like I was watching the city population chart. Let's have a look here. Where's the population? Yeah, I was watching the city population chart. My first couple of cities, and I get this in the first couple of years. I get this huge growth, and suddenly this just death spike. And then and then what would happen is the city would die off. I'd lose. You had a population of say 30,000. It dropped down to 24, 22. I'm like, oh, and I'm like pulling my hair out, going, what's going on? And then the city would empty out so much, and then it'd get to the point of right, it's so low now, and then the things would turn around again. The bodies are gone, and the population surged back up again. And I had this happen 3 times. And of course, I looked up. Well, you just got to get used to this simulated game where the life of your Sims live to a certain point, and then they die, and then they grow and die, grow and die. And I thought that's a bit stuffed. And then I realised it all had to do with death care, because I didn't really give a shit about graveyards and crematoriums and cemeteries and stuff. But I googled and found a couple little quotes, and I thought, oh, okay. So I started putting crematoriums all over the place because they had the cemeteries there, but I didn't have any crematoriums. And I think I had about 800. This is another city, not this particular one. So I got it up to 1,200, and suddenly I just saw the bodies all getting dealt with, the population. And ever since I've done that, work with having cemeteries and crematoriums doing their job, I don't get those huge die-offs. So an example in this game, if it was happening in this game, you'd see this spike and then this huge dip, spike again, huge dip, and it'd probably be about several years or whatever time frame between it. And as you can see here, there's a little dip here, and I think I didn't have my that in order. So, but you can see spike little. So we've had a steady growth, and then we just had massive surges, and then we had an issue here in the mid '80s. We were struggling, but I think it's because I was so focused on industry, and it's just proven a waste of money to me. So look. I haven't Googled. You can YouTube it or whatever. See if there's anyone's doing it better. And I probably suggest there probably are. My mining is making me money. Oil is importing. So it took a lot of, what's the right word? Macro and micro management, and I neglected my city growth. I'm honestly feeling is I just should focus on residential because it's making me the most money, and providing the residential with work in office and commercial zones. And I think a good combination is those solar conscious places, and also zoning leisure and hotels and stuff like that. But also I think there's a good commercial and local produce, which is good. And I'm not going to put anyone through because 7 hours last night streaming, it was, I don't know if everyone loved it, but can't imagine people are going to sit there for 7 hours and watch that. What I'm going to do is look at my train costs and work out why they're so expensive and go forward. Hang on, I'll just look at my budget. That might be my metro. Because I've got quite a few metro stations. 22,000. I'm definitely going to piss off my planes because I think it's all the blimps. But anyway, no dramas. Anyway, enjoy your Saturday. It's Saturday lunchtime roughly here in Australia on the East Coast. Beautiful blue day-ish. So I want to thank your mother for the eggs. Put your money on the fridge and smoke me a kipper, and I'll be back for breakfast. Hasta la vista. I may be back on later with some other game. Who knows, a Fallout 76 or something. But I just want to have a wee fiddle, and I'll do that offline. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Link, share, subscribe. Any feedback, let us know. If you're not enjoying something, things, or whatever, give us feedback. This is, to me, is more just an outlet and play. It's funny, I use this to keep my graphic skills up with certain things, and it helps me in other areas. Other than that, enjoy yourself. Talk soon. Bye.